Okay? So, if we are graphing and you have parallel lines, that means that we are going to have no solution. If you have the exact same line, you are going to have infinitely many solutions. That's how we're going to write that. Okay? Infinitely many solutions. So in your boxes, you are filling in no solution and infinitely many. Same line. It says if we have one solution, that means x equals something. It could be like 0, 4. It could be like 1/2, 3. It could be something like -2, 1, right? Where the x and the y both equal something. That is your one solution. When we substitute what x or y is equal to, x equals or y equals. And on your quiz, the substitution ones that we will do next week on Tuesday, I will tell you the x or y. You will have to use substitution. And as you look at this, if we are substituting and we get a true statement, that is our infinitely many. So when you have something like 0 equals 0, 4 equals 4, infinitely many solutions, right? Infinitely many solutions. Whereas if you have a false statement, like you have 0 equals -2, you have 3 equals -3, then you will have no solution. So the false is very similar to the parallel lines, right? When we have a false solution, the no solution, that's like in the graphing parallel, okay? And then in the last one, again, the elimination, which I know a lot of you are really starting to like doing that much better than the other two forms. That is when you have to line up your columns. So the elimination is when you have to have x, usually plus the y, equals your number, okay? And you usually want to keep the equations in that form. And it says sometimes you need to multiply by a number to get the numbers that can be eliminated. The key thing with that elimination is that you are going to add or subtract so that one variable is eliminated. That is our key thing with elimination. Then you still have to substitute into the original equation to get the other one. And again, your true statement's exactly the same. True statements is infinitely many. False statement is going to be no solution when you are looking at those. Okay? On the bottom half of your notes for this page, as you take a look at that next page down, it says, well, which method is the best one to use? On the test, I am not really going to give you a choice. The first two questions, question 1 and 2 on the quiz, will say you must use substitution. Okay? You must use substitution. So in your homework tonight, I'm going to have you practice some of each type. So question 1 and 2 on the quiz are going to say substitution. This is when you have one variable equals. Like it says x equals 2x minus 3, and then you're going to replace that in the other equation for the x. So then whatever that other equation is, then you'll replace that, you'll solve. For many of you, for this part, this is not as easy as your graph or elimination. The substitution seems to be the one that people struggle with the most. Then questions 3 and 4 on the quiz, which will each be 6 points for each question. Question 3 and 4 are going to be elimination. The elimination, what's nice about this is if one of your variables have the same number but opposite signs. So when you have a positive or negative in front of that, in front of those variables, this is the one where it's usually easy to multiply and rewrite it in the form so that you can eliminate. You still have to substitute. Your answers are still going to be x, y, no solution, or infinitely many. And the graphing, that is going to be question 5 and 6 on your quiz. So when you are graphing on the quiz, Sometimes you would need to estimate it if it's not exact. The ones I'm gonna give you will be exact, right? I'll leave you nice ones, so they're gonna be integers, right? You're not gonna have something like a half and 2/3, okay? It'll come out to be a nice number. We aren't gonna be using a graphing calculator, but you could, and usually we want our equations in slope-intercept form. So keeping in mind what is your slope-intercept form, that's when you have the y equals mx plus b. And when you are looking at that form of graphing, remember 0, comma b is your start point. That's your y-intercept. So whatever number, when the equations are written in this form, that's your starting point. The m is how you move. And when we think of moving, we're usually thinking of it as rise over run. This is also where you might be thinking positive slope, negative slope, zero slope, and I don't believe you're going to have any that are undefined, but that kind of might help you to think about that. So when you rewrite those equations, okay? Questions about what is going to be on your quiz. Quiz will be Tuesday, so we'll have a chance on Monday